Hi, Dave Blockus here, losaltoshomes.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about selling your home off market and whether that makes sense. And typically this is done with what within the industry is known as a pocket listing. Now, why would someone sell their house off market to a limited pool of buyers when the multiple listing service really is a valuable tool in getting the property, its condition, pictures, etc. out there for the most amount of buyers to see? Well, there are a few reasons why this may make sense. In today's market, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, but let me run through them with you. First and foremost, if you've got a very high-end property, that does make a lot of sense to not have it on the multiple listing service, because frankly, there's not too many buyers who will buy a $20 million property or $25 million property, and they're probably not going to go directly to the multiple listing service to find that. It's going to be networked from agent to agent who deal in those price points. So that particular high-end property makes no sense to try to sell it on the multiple listing service. Now, there are other reasons. The other main reason is seller privacy. They don't want traditional, multiple listing service, multiple pictures, open houses, people coming through back and forth, because they're just very private people. Now, that's fine as long as you understand that you may be leaving money on the table when you go ahead and do that. As long as you're aware of that as a seller, that is absolutely your right, and your agent should support that because we're hired to sell the house, but we're hired to do it under your constraints. So privacy is a big issue. Celebrities, professional athletes, that type of thing. Third reason is if the property really has sort of a history, whether, and this typically is a negative history. The best example I have of this is there was a property in South Los Altos several years ago that was originally tried to sold off market. It didn't work, and they eventually put it on the multiple listing service. But that particular seller's circumstances warranted to try to sell it off market. And in this particular case, the seller came home after a night or an afternoon at the shooting range, and unfortunately had a cocktail hour in between, came home and thought, well, rather than just unloading my gun, putting everything away safely, I'll go ahead and empty the clip into my backyard redwood tree. Obviously, the police were called, SWAT, the whole 9 yards, so it was kind of a debacle. And the seller said, it's now time to sell. I'm going to kind of try to keep things undercover. It's embarrassing, and try to get out of town quietly. Well, didn't sell off market, eventually was put on the multiple listing and sold right away. Lastly, selling off market is a way to kind of game the MLS, and this really comes down to seller motivation. Do I really want to sell? Do I want to test the market? That type of thing. And so sometimes people will put their house out there. If you bring in my price, I'll go ahead and sell it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. And it doesn't trigger for when I eventually really want to sell the multiple listing days on market to look as if it's a stale listing. So that's another reason why, maybe trying to sell off market might make sense. But for 90% of the homeowners out there, especially in today's tight inventory, you're not going to know how much your house is worth unless it's fully exposed to the most amount of people. And that usually involves getting in on the multiple listing service, getting it out to all the agents, all the qualified buyers that are out there, so you can really see what it brings. Now, we're seeing right now offers, 10 offers, 12 offers, 28 offers on property. If you sell it offline, you're lucky to get 28 people who even know about it. So something to think about. Each case is different. Just from an administrative standpoint, when you go to sell your house and you sign up with a real estate agent, you sign all the listing documentation, that property needs to be put on the multiple listing service within 72 hours. That's what our board guidelines are. Unless you sign one of these documents that basically says, I wish to exclude the property from the multiple listing service for a period of X time, which would be forever, or while we're prepping it for staging and that, getting it ready to sell. But during those circumstances, I would advise heavily, especially in today's market, to rethink, do you really want to sell it off market and limit the pool of buyers who may see your house? If you have any questions about pocket listings or selling offline versus online, what's to your advantage, feel free to give me a call. I'm David Blockus with LosAltosHomes.com. Thank you for watching.